something to be said about hard-nosed full contact. It's like that raw rap all the way back to boom bap. Spikes up, Ty Cobb inspired killing the corners. Heating up with recklessness, we still getting warmer. Nevertheless, nothing contest, we bring it best. Wile E. Coyote mixed with Roadrunner, full comers. Holding your title hostage, the kings we smoke others. You're either with us or against us, it doesn't matter which. Scouting your weakness, we bring the wrath when we hit. There's never been a squad as raw as trash can spit. You might get bashed with a stick while I'm pounding the fence. Look around, you're a fish while I'm rounding it quick. Take a look at the base and sprint off with a fist in your face. No remorse, no mercy, no force can hurt me. The scouts purposely bring the pain, come try to work me. But there's a crew of dirty cats.
Softball fam, welcome to the Glue Guys program, episode number 9. We got 9 of these already. Whoa, 9?
Yeah, we're getting
People
up there,
are you're still here. Well, I don't know. We started a couple minutes late. That's going to happen from time to time because sometimes Los and I are so busy that we actually catch up at the pre-show meeting and we get on a tangent about something. For instance, tonight, we're talking about the Mighty Funkos. I found out I have a brother in Funko Arms and Clint Clayton on the Icon, who I've already got working on a couple top secret Funko, I don't know,
acquisitions,
scavenger hunts. Yes, I like that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Elon Musk.
Yes,
joining me as always, and this program would look a lot less crisp without him. The brains of the operation, my friend.
Yes,
Blaze
sir.
Rock, better known
Yes,
as
sir.
AKA Mr. Marlos Hill. How are you this fine Wednesday evening, sir?
I'm fantastic, but I'm going to say something that's going to sound really, really egotistical. Even though the intro is actually, it's my voice, it's my group, BP Mercenaries. Shout out to my boy Paco, obviously.
John!
Every time I hear that song, I go, dang, that's actually kind of dope. Then I have to realize that, yeah, that's actually me. So I don't mean to sound like a cocky son of a bitch, but there are times where I separate it. Like, I'm like, yeah, this song is kind of bop. Wait, that's my shit. Hold on. Like,
that's why I recognize those words. God
exactly.
damn it.
It's a weird thing. My wife always laughs at me about it because I do it all the time. There's times where I'll hear songs of my own, like, on a playlist or something like that, and I'll be like, yo, this is dope. What is it? Oh.
Wait, I did that. I did that with the Blaze Rock. I did that one of your songs today. I had it on random, shuffle.
Yeah.
Which Apple can we fix after about 300-400 songs?
Oh my God!
It stays on the same artist. Can we fix that, please?
Legit. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. One of my biggest peeves. I have a couple of playlists that are easily 600-700 songs, and I swear to God, I hear the same 5 or like over and over and over and over. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Come on.
All these songs, your algorithm sucks that bad. Come on, dog. It's crazy.
You made a phone this big, man.
Yes, man.
And you can't fix a shuffle?
Yes. Come on, dude.
Come on, man.
I'm
Steve
not
Jobs
even smart,
is
bro.
rolling around in a grave. All right, anyway.
I'm not
This is
even
why
smart,
Steve Jobs was so good. He got the little things, man.
Yes.
But anyway,
yes.
Moving on to that, I had a
sir.
playlist going today, and Shooter starts, and I'm kind of half listening. I'm doing something. I'm like, that beat just the head. I didn't even control it. It was just ooh, yeah,
All
right. And I'm like, damn, who is this? I love this. I've heard this. Oh, son of a bitch. All right,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I know who this is.
Sir.
Dumbass.
That's what I do. I'm not gonna lie. It's nerve wracking for me.
And for some reason, every time when I hear that song, no matter what I'm doing, I always like I'm your hype man at the show. Somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt. I say it every time. But anyway, that's what Spotify. That's what Apple Music's for. That's whatever your streaming service. Go check out my man Blaze Rock. That was not a commercial. I actually listened to the shit and I like it.
Dopeness.
So
it's dopeness.
get over it.
Speaking of numbers,
yes.
let's pay some bills real quick.
Yeah. Recently back from Florida, and hey, listen, folks. If you're a realtor, right? What's the best way to show that you know what you're doing? You sell your own house in 2.5 hours after listing it officially, right?
Boom, bang.
And I might be wrong. It might have been sooner than that. But Mickey and his wonderful wife Nicole are moving into another abode.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally got their old house on the market. Mickey was in Florida at the Challenge Cup all weekend. I swear, I think he had it listed before the plane left Florida, and it was sold pretty much when he landed.
That's
So I don't know the exact times. Like I said, 2.5 hours might be longer. I don't know. But look, folks, if the guy sold his own house 2.5 hours, what do you think he's going to do for you?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's so many people out there that have worked with Mickey now in the softball community and have great results. I really don't even need to do the testimonials anymore because you've probably already heard it out at the fields, or you've definitely seen his name because this is a gentleman who believes in investing. All right. He's got 2 AAA teams he's sponsoring, but not for free. He is actually making them work for it, which I love because I hate when I go on any message board like, hey, we need a sponsor for our softball team. Who can help? Not how it works. Not
exactly.
You got to bring something to the table. Do you go into work and say, give me a paycheck, I'm only working 2 instead of 40 hours this week? No, you're going to get a paycheck for 2 hours. Same thing here, folks. Use your brains. Who's making moves? Who's selling houses? Who's buying them at the right price? It's Mickey Czar, all right? Czar Realty. Go see him and his team at Czar Realty if you have anything that you need in real estate. If he can't do it, he'll put you with someone who can, but I'm pretty sure he can do 99.9% of the things you need. And I'm thinking more rental stuff. But anyway, thank you, Mickey. Always a supporter of the program from day one, and I appreciate it. Also, don't forget, official Proton swinger there, that Mickey Czar. And I have been told inside, pulling kind of a Woj bomb here, a little bit of a Woj bomb. Or a perk. What's Perks one? Perk bombs?
Is that what it
Perkins?
is?
He calls it Perk something. Anyway.
Let him keep it.
Well, he had a big one. Anyway, Here we go. Proton fanny packs coming soon.
Oh, God.
I've seen the prototype. Hey. Anyway,
man.
Thank you.
I'm not. Look. I'm gonna say I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. So yeah.
Yes, he's the Westcott's already. And by the way, Jay, thank you for if you went to YouTube or whatever you did, so I could see your name. That is a dedicated viewer right there. Love you for it. Also, my buddy Taylor Meditz, you know him as Teditz over on Facebook Gaming. Teditz on FB, all one word. Go see him, man. Go watch for a little bit. He has finally figured out how snipers work on Caldera and literally dropping forehead kisses all over the map. So if you're in any kind of gaming, get over there. Go check my boy Teditz out. So this week's going to be pretty Challenge Cup heavy. Ernie, our guest, is in the queue. Thank you, Mike Callis. In the queue, he will be on this program. We're going to talk a little Challenge Cup and then bring Ernie on. So, Ernie, we see you. When we're getting ready to bring you on, we'll let you know. Probably about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll get you in there. But you're ready to go. So we got all the technical stuff worked out for you folks waiting to see Big Worm there. Ernie will be on. Oh, did I just spill that? I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't do the picture, though. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Real quick, before we get into Challenge Cup stuff, it is true. I know there's rumors. I got a lot of texts and phone calls. I did play softball last night out at Legacy. I pitched for 3 innings, pulled myself, put Mikey Diaz in there to get it done, and we still lost. But I went 4 for 5 with a walk. Just legit, people saw it. I've actually made sure they would testify if needed before I left the field, and I'm back in retirement.
Fuck.
So Challenge Cup, wow, I'm really going to walk a line tonight, folks. I'll warn you right now. I'm not happy with National. What I'm about to say is my opinion and my opinion only, and it does not reflect on Arizona U-Trip or Bob or anyone associated with it.
I'll stop making disclaimers. Run it up.
It's me, and I'm kind of, rather than just totally shit on National what happened at the Challenge Cup, I'm more in kind of a kind of thing. And
let's talk about it.
Listen, let's just, we're going to stay honest here. That's what we do. It's the whole reason I do this program. All right. My biggest thing is most of you should already know, if you don't, going into Challenge Cup, what it is. Okay. It is not what they want it to be yet in this all-star competition of people from all over the country coming in and going mano-a-mano for some kind of, I don't know, country's, best champion. Yeah. Well, we'll see about that, Randy. With the guys that come out, I had Ronnie Salcido out last night. If I could usually do pretty good to sub for myself. But yeah, so it's not that. I mean, look, it's a slow time of the year, and U-Trip figured out a way to come up with a pretty cool concept of a tournament to fill in a slow spot in the calendar. All that is amazing. The idea, the concept, I love it. I love the idea. What I don't love right now, and it's happened 2 years in a row now, first time for seniors for us, but the kids I heard a lot last year, it's not, the communication and the knowledge and the information is not getting to the people it needs to get to. Mm-hmm. Between dates getting switched, the one that I'm really, my hair's on fire about is, the women already have it hard enough getting recognition, right? We admit that. We admit it. We're trying to do our part, but let's just face it, that's how it is. Our Arizona team goes out, our senior women's team. The tournament's already started, and suddenly conference team's okay. There's a 35-plus team they had to play. This is a 40s-plus team in the middle of the bracket. Like, we're better than that. I'm sorry. We have to be better as a sanction. That should have never happened. The reason the turnout is not what it should be is because guys question a lot of that. The umps had a rough weekend. I'm just going to leave it at that. I watched the Arizona games. So UTRIP got my $10 for UTRIP Live. Please spend it well. And I got to watch the games. I was flipping back and forth. I saw a call in the AAA game going against our boys. The base ump calls a guy out at second. The home plate, the other team requests a conference with the home plate umpire. He goes and does it. The home plate umpire changes the call. Mm-hmm. We're lucky my laptop still works. I was going to start throwing things. He had no angle on it. Pitcher was in his way, first of all. The guy is right next to second base. He did a great job being in the right position to make the call. Why he let the home plate umpire go over him? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that can't happen. If you're trying to build this tournament up and make it an event like you want it to be, and guys want to make this Challenge Cup team, and guys want to go to Florida, you have to fix all of that. And then here's the worst part of it, okay? Every state should have a black and white rules set up to figure out who should be on what teams. I'm aggravated because, oh, shocker, Florida won both 40 AAA and 40 major. Fine. The problem is, I know for a fact there were 6 or 7 guys who played conference ball last year on the 40 majors team. Why do we have a conference division then, gentlemen? If you don't have enough teams, cool, combine them. But get the information out weeks before we have the tournament and let guys make their own decision. Don't force their hand and tell them that it's major versus major. No, it's not the way to do it. And if I get blasted, I get blasted. But, the facts are the facts.
All right, so here I'm going to add, because, of course, I'm here of my own official capacity. I don't answer to a motherfucking soul. So here's what I'm saying. A lot of what you're saying is accurate. I mean, in the sense that, given the information that's been shared, the information that everyone's kind of known, or, how things actually played out, all those things are accurate. And those are complaints that easily everyone has had all along. But in most cases, they get dismissed as people just being crybabies and crabs and, whatnot. But the reality is the Challenge Cup is not devoid of the same problems that every division of normal tournaments have, which is people trying to skirt the system, trying to cheat the system. It just makes it a little more apparent when it is the Challenge Cup, because the Challenge Cup is really being put on by, all of the directors, and everyone's involved, and there's a tremendous amount of visibility. And if you want to demonstrate the importance of fair play and the importance of the divisions and the like, you got to own that and do that all of the time. Integrity is what people can see when you're, what people don't see. It's not only what they can see and who you are and etc. So I don't believe that anyone is going to look at what you're saying as a blast or anything like that. You're not being necessarily disrespectful or anything like that. You're not calling them names or anything like that. You're pointing out things that are inconsistencies. And I think that type of assessment and analysis is important, because it's not from the standpoint of I just didn't get my way, so now I'm mad, which is what often, kind of colors what other people may say. Some of the teams themselves, players who are actually out there from different places, have probably said the exact same thing that you're saying. But the fact that they're saying it from the standpoint of having lost or having not done as well as they want is how people will look at it, rather than actually looking at what they're saying. I do want to point out that Jason said something very, very, very accurate, and I'm going to put that up on the stream. Be open, be honest, and have open lines of communication. Absolutely. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it comes down to. If you're going to have people, and I mean, you're literally having people come across the country, and it's costing them a fortune. Sponsors and players themselves, their families, etc., are taking the opportunity, taking the time to go do this tournament. You want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and that you're doing things the right way. Making changes at the end of making changes once the tournament starts is ridiculous. That's
better have a good.
Yeah.
Now hold on.
Give me a better reason than I just felt like it. I don't want to hear that. Like, you've got to have.
Yeah.
Even then, when you make that decision, you've got time to contact every single person. And I'm going to say this because, again, I'm not in an official capacity. If one of those teams didn't pay, that director would be on their ass and would be communicating to them immediately. So why is it any different when you're making changes? That's not right. That's not okay. We have to do better. I'm not saying people aren't, it's very possible people make mistakes. The hustle and bustle of things get thrown around, get moved around, things don't get done. Fine. But again, we're talking about UTRIP, and UTRIP is essentially the pinnacle of softball in the U.S. There's no excuse.
We did this to ourselves, okay?
Right.
Because the other thing I wanted to add real quick is also that I have all the faith in the world, and all I can speak for is Arizona.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm not shitting on any other directors. I'm sorry. And the guys I think from Utah who helped me out at Winter Nationals, Juan and my brain. But I had 2 guys from Utah who worked as UICs, and it was amazing. Okay, so Utah I can speak for also. But as far as New Mexico or Vic out in Cali or the Florida guys, I'm not shitting on anyone. I just haven't worked with them yet.
Yeah.
So don't take it the wrong way.
But you don't have to. No. Hold on.
No, I didn't even get to say what I was going to say.
I know, but I need to jump in before you do that because you keep doing it. And I'm saying this not just as the homie. I'm saying it because you're almost invalidating what you're saying, even though you're not trying to. Don't keep giving the reasons. We know you're not shitting on them. And if they don't know that, you telling them isn't going to change that.
Sorry, PTSD from previous broadcasts from other people.
That's why I'm here. I got to keep you back in there. My
God.
bad. Go ahead, bro.
Hold on. Time out. Stop the show. Just pause. Don't stop it. Just wait a second. I have severely effed up and forgot to include something. Hold on 1 second. That made me remember.
This fucking guy.
That made me remember.
Wow. That's where we are. It's a little, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Got to dust it off. Got to lean it. Yeah. All right. There we go, Mr. Director of the Year. There we go, Mr. Director of the Year. NFG Director of the Year.
Woo, can't look, man. That's paying some bills too for Marty's, man. I can't forget that. So wait, let me.
Understood. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yep.
We got a good angle. Good angle.
All right. So as I was saying, PTSD from a previous broadcasting experience. So here's the thing. I know the people involved have run huge tournaments, okay?
Right.
They've come here before I was involved with UTRIP and run great tournaments. So there's no reason for this last minute, shell games, the ranking problems and it wasn't just Florida. There were other states too that had guys that had no business playing on a major team and they were a conference player. Or Florida's AAA had a bunch of major players. Listen, it happened every state, but you can't keep throwing this tournament out as this big all-star thing, and then the rules only apply to certain people. They better figure out a way to get a blanket rules for this thing. Like they were pushing the uniform thing early. Conference rules on the uniform, matching pants, and you have to wear pants, and you have to have matching jerseys. Then a week before they turn around and go, not a big deal. Now, what about all the teams that followed the rules and got the jerseys made and busted their ass to pay for them and whatever? Yeah. And they're like, because one team, whatever state it was, said, hey, we're not doing that. So then, what's the point of the rule? And I saw a couple of those different rules that were waived closer to tournament. Guys, it's going to be growing pains when you stand strong on your rules. But I promise you from experience, if we make the rules and stand by them, after one of these, it's all going to work itself out.
Exactly.
Don't
That's
let
why I can't
players dictate this stuff. I think Randy put it up there. I only caught the bottom of it from an umpire thing, but
yes,
he made a great point. Or I know it was Westcott with the 4 teams. Don't let the teams dictate what's going to happen in the tournament.
Which is
what take the reins, be leadership, and let's go. We're flip flopping. It looks bad. I personally have guys in my state saying, I don't want to play that next year.
Right.
If that's going to be the experience from the guys I talked to from this year, I don't want to go. So guess what, guys? We just shit on a great concept.
Yeah.
We just shot ourselves in the foot with a great concept that now nobody wants to play because they don't believe in the rules that we've set as a sanction. Can we get our heads out of our proverbial asses, please, and stop counting the money? Yeah. Let's go.
I mean, you can still count the money, but you can. That's the problem. That is the problem. You can still get that money, bro. Everybody's still gonna play. And in fact, I'm with you. If you stick to your guns, here's the rules. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we do it. Here's how we handle it. You're mad. We don't give a shit. That's the rule. You deal with it. You don't want to be here? Don't
And
fucking
that's how you
got to
do it.
That's
or
what
the
it is.
Tournament will never become what you envisioned when whoever thought this up. It's never going to become that. In fact, what scares me is it's a lower one. You got to have teams travel to make this thing a big deal.
Right.
You didn't get a lot of travel.
Right.
A lot of teams just said, nope, we're not sending them.
Yeah, see,
I don't know who it was, adding players during the tournament.
That's ugly. That's ugly.
Seifman shit.
Ugly. Yeah.
And for you guys that from National who end up watching this, I know you don't know who that is. Call me or ask Bob Fuller who Rick Seifman is.
Or we could just flat say, it is exactly the example of what you don't do.
Run a softball tournament, not only in Arizona, in the friggin' world.
Yeah, I think
you see that guy, you turn around and get your money back from the coach if you can, because you probably can't, because he already paid it to somebody who won't give it back to him. Enough said.
Yeah, I think that's
love my koozies though.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Nonetheless, let's talk about
faith that we can
wrestling.
fix this.
Yeah.
But you guys got to accept the blame for what's happened and let's move on, me included, because I'm included in it. So moving on, let's talk about the actual teams that went. I was talking about the women, and I didn't say the most important thing.
Run it up.
Through all of this BS, playing a conference team in pool or in bracket, maybe two, but definitely one, beating a 35-plus team. I think it was from New Jersey. All right, the women took second.
That's
with
dope.
all that crap thrown at them, it's like
ladies.
a Rocky story.
Right.
The women's 40 seniors take second.
Yeah.
Take note, gentlemen. When you win, you are the first team talked about on the program. Now, I can't really say it because 50s did really well, too. We'll get that in a second. But the women, listen, you don't get enough credit. You don't. I'm admitting it. So just hang in there. We're working on it. The more tournaments you play, we're putting you in there with the guys. All right? I didn't get this plaque for nothing. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. The NFG, what a great sanction that was. So listen, congratulations, girls. I think you faced the most adversity out of any of the teams that went so far. I don't know what's going on today. I did see, I think our mixed C or mixed D co-ed team took second. Robert Cave and the crew. I saw Jordan Stevenson was playing. Great job, you boys. I happened to catch it today. I wanted to just give you the old shout out. Shout out.
I know D is playing now, right?
So the women holding it down for Arizona, representing. Thank you. Great job. C. Okay, it was C mixed co-ed today. Thank you, whoever that was. 50s. No luster off of their shine. They go third overall, but second in their division. Again, this is where that confusion went. And who knows who's playing conference? Hey, throw a 40s AAA team in there too while we're at it. But I know they dealt with the 50s majors, dealt with AAA teams, and they dealt with conference teams. Not a good turnout. They put them together. Okay. So great job by those boys. Ran out of gas a little bit. I got to catch the last game that they played. I think they just ran out of gas a little bit. But still a great showing by those boys. Ship, Brucey, Cronny, even McDill. I'll give you a shout out, even though I swear I'd never do that again. So McDill, good job, bud. All right, and then our 40s majors and our 40s AAA, well, we can kind of put them together because from what I could tell, they just could never catch a rhythm. They can never get in a rhythm. It'd be a good inning, then a bad inning. Good inning, then a bad. Couldn't get in a rhythm. The umps, the umps are the umps, guys. I already talked about it. You had some bad calls, I agree. But if you hit, that doesn't matter. It's harder when the umps aren't good and you're struggling or it's close games, I understand. But both teams went 3-3, obviously played hard. I have some inside sources that the 40s majors team got the first number one seed coming out of pool, didn't have to play until noon, and they made sure to get their money's worth that night down in Florida. My main question to my source was it worth it? And they said, abso-effing-lutely. So, hey, I'm just glad you guys got to go down there and have a good time with all the chaos, the hurricane hanging over Space Coast for the senior games at least. 40s AAA, same deal. Just couldn't get it going, couldn't come together and really make a run. I heard a lot of good things coming out of there about John Binder pitching. Really fielding middle like Spider-Man with the 6-arm thing costume from Infinity War. So, John, great job. Tommy on the 40 majors team did a real nice job. Actually pitched a little bit. He's my Death Angel, any heavy metal band brother there. I'll talk to Ernie about that in a minute. that's an interesting tidbit. You know, the Aaron Andrews type crap that I try to find without having to. All right, yeah, I'm not going there. So 40 majors also, like I said, just couldn't get going. I haven't had a chance to really talk to Calvert yet, but I know that he had a lot of tough calls. He was trying to juggle that team. He was trying to make things happen, making changes, just trying to, you know, when you're out of answers, you try anything to kickstart your guys. You know, you try, and I don't envy that position because I've been in it a number of times myself. Definitely, and we have confirmation. They celebrated that number 1 seed hard, all caps. We have confirmation right there. Little bit of drama for the majors. I mean, you know, I've confirmed what I need to confirm, and it wasn't pretty. You know, it wasn't pretty.
What happened?
All right, let me put on my politically correct face. One of the guys pitching got pulled. Didn't agree with the coach's decision. Was kind of switched things up from what I understand, and wasn't happy and decided he didn't need to be there anymore, and left the field. So I'm not gonna, figure it out. If you want to figure it out, I'm trying to be as
shit happens
as gray as possible here. I mean,
but look. Hold on. Let's pause there for a second because we've been going, but let's talk about it, right? So I know that a lot of people would go and make it out to be a bigger deal than it is. It isn't. It's not that big a fucking deal. Like at the end of the day, if he was, it'd be one thing if let's say for example, he walks off the field and they're still hitting and he's one of the batters who's coming up. Then yeah, everybody would have you'd have a complaint. Does it look good? Nah, it probably doesn't look as good as it could. Is it a big deal? Fuck no. Like to me, I mean, ultimately, if he felt at that moment that his opinion, his attitude, his feelings, his vibe, whatever made him say, you know what, I don't want to be in this fucking dugout right now, by all fucking means. I'm unfortunately one of those people that I believe I would rather a player do that than sit in the dugout and be a dickhead. And so if he felt if he felt like I need to walk out, if he felt like, because I'm saying, if he felt like, you know what, fuck this, I need a minute, and just, grabbed his bag and took off. Honestly, I'm not saying I don't really see. I know that everyone likes to come up with the idea that, about culture and about, team being a good teammate and all these other things. Yeah. And I mean, and I'm sure that factors in a little bit, but I don't believe, based on what I've read and what I've heard and what I've seen and what you've said here, I don't believe this was that type of situation in which him walking out was a significant blow to the performance of the team, or a significant blow to the circumstances right there. Now, I know there are other people who are going to disagree with me with that first part of that statement, and I'm good with that. But what I'm saying, again, it's one thing to leave the field in the middle of the game and things are going on or whatever. And at that moment, he felt like he needed to leave. I'd rather him leave than cause a scene. I'd rather him leave than be a negative influence in the dugout. And I know every single player has been on a team where you got a guy that's in there in the dugout pouting and bitching about their performance or the coach taking them out. I'm going to say that person pisses me off and is a worse teammate to me than the guy who says, you know what, I'm good, and walks out after that. Neither are good. I'm not saying either are good. Both of those are bad things. I'm of the ilk in my mind, right? If we're going to war, we're going to lay it down until it's over. Now, once it's over, I might throw a fucking hissy fit and go off, right? Because of something, right?
Right.
I'm not going to say that it's a good thing to leave the field. I'm not going to say it's a good thing to leave the dugout. I'm going to say that's your last resort. But I'm not going to go as far as to say someone who did that, leaving the dugout, is a bad teammate. That's a stretch.
Let me add some hypotheticals in here just to make sure
add some color.
I'm as clear. Color. I differ from you. You know what I mean? I agree with you up to a point. I'm cool with walking out. I'm cool with taking a walk. I'm cool with all that. What I'm not cool is taking your bag and not coming back. You leave your bag there and you go cool off. And then when you get back and you got a clear head, you can decide whether you need to apologize or, like you said, drop the mic and go ape shit on somebody. Either way. But I still think you got to come back. But again, my opinion, it's one of many. The intangible I want to throw in is you're not at home. You're traveling. All right. What if you're staying in a Vrbo or Airbnb or whatever? You know what I mean? Are you going back there too, or you saying I'm all out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just get your stuff and get out of there. Like what? what's the move then?
Yeah, I mean, look, I want to make sure that's clear. I'm presenting a point, a perspective, and what I still believe, again, most of us have been playing sports for, the entirety of our lives, right? And we're taught certain things as being good teammates, and we're taught certain things as being important. And I think as we've gotten older, we realize that some of those things aren't shit, right? One of those is, like you said, if you know what, if you get pulled and it pisses you off, it's not because you're a child. It's not because you're immature. And anybody presenting that's full of shit themselves, right? You can be pissed off. You can be mad at yourself for not performing like you wanted
Absolutely.
to. You could be mad at the other team because they said something or did something you didn't like. You could be mad at your coach for making a decision that you don't agree with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is not immature. That is what every single motherfucking player everywhere does, no matter what.
Now here's where the maturity comes in, all right? It's what
there you
do after that.
Yes, sir.
You can have all those feelings,
right.
all of them.
Right.
You can be talking under your breath. You could throw a helmet. Not like I haven't done that 1,000 times. I only paid $30 for this Cascade. These MFers. Anyway, whatever you do, no matter how extravagant your celebration of anger is, or if you're subdued and you're about to explode, all of that is okay.
Yeah.
When I bring in the immaturity word, or the youngin or whatever, is how they react next.
Okay.
So if you're mad and everybody knows it, cool. Now, if you go and you got to take it further, if you got to call somebody out, or you got to go down the rung and do everybody else, I disagree, and here's why.
I don't like that.
They may need that call out. They may need you to get in their ass. Absolutely. But here's the problem. You don't have yourself together yet.
Timing. Yes, sir.
You got to walk away and get your head straight so you don't want to yell at other people emotional. You can yell at yourself all you want. Look, anybody that's played with me knows I come off the mound after a bad inning and I'm talking to myself like you'd think I need medication. I'm out of my mind mad at myself over pitches I missed.
Right.
But 30 seconds after I sit down, I'm good.
Right.
Or I'll walk it off. It's not anybody else's fault but mine. So once you get your own head straight, then you can do what you got to do. You got to call somebody out. You got to get your shit and get out. Whatever you got to do. The maturity level is how you react to it.
Right. But I guess that's the thing is, so for example, and again, I wasn't here and I wasn't there. You weren't there. We're all, a lot of this is supposition.
All speculation.
Right. Completely. And so I don't want to sound like I'm the authority on the idea. I'm not. But what I will say is, and this is the part that I believe in, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to back down from that part at all. I really believe that if that particular player felt that strongly that it was time to go. I'm pissed. This is problematic. And they left, even if they weren't pissed. Honestly, because, again, we're all speculating he's pissed. Maybe he's not pissed. Maybe he's just disappointed. Maybe he's just had enough. And if so, fine. I don't really have a problem with him saying, you know what? I'm out. What I do want to say, though, and it almost feels like I have to say it this way. I know a lot of people are going to say you just don't leave your teammates. And I don't disagree on the surface, but I got to ask those same people, which would you prefer? A teammate who is negatively affecting the vibe and chemistry of the field or disruptive, or do you want them to just take their shit and go? And I'm going to say, me as a player, I would much rather you take your shit and go than you sit in the dugout and pout and bitch. I'd rather you take your shit and go than take out your little frustrations and shit on the rest of the team, because then everybody else starts getting nervous, starts getting what the fuck, or starts getting pissed off. And then the whole vibe is gone. If someone walks out the dugout as a coach, neither is, hey, look, I'm going to point to Randy Blunt made a good point. Why not neither? I'm telling you, me personally, I've never done it. I don't even understand the idea. I've been to the point where I was like, yo, I'm about to be like, fuck this shit and be out. But I would most definitely wait until game's over. I'm going up to the coach or whoever, and I'm like, look, man, this is some bullshit. And I fucking had it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I don't want to go as far as, oh, you shouldn't. I only want to say that I can understand it, because that's my job, is to be able to understand the mindset that the person's going through, rather than simply offer that my opinion is this and you should have did it my way. I'm not in that man's mind. I'm not going through what he's going through. For all I know, he could have been ready to go in inning one. He could have been like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm ready to roll. And that just happened to be the last straw. But what I will say is, I would much rather a person remove themselves from a situation than deliberately, purposely, or actionably make the situation worse. I've had that experience 100 times where you get that dude who goes up there and he strikes out, or he goes up and pops out with, with bases loaded or some shit, comes back slinging the bats, throwing gloves, cussing everybody out, calling everybody's mama a fucking sunflower or some shit. I don't want to be in that. And that bothers me more than the guy saying, you know what, I've had it, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, the problem stops for the most part right there. But I knew this conversation.
We're rolling. I knew we were going to do that. I knew we were going to do that.
Let's. I know. Poor Ernie. Though. Poor Ernie's been waiting. Let's. We'll move on here. Just real quick. Hey, look. If you went, congratulations. Let's get the records out. What happened and umps and scheduling and conference and saying. Let's get all that out. Look, everybody that went. I don't have the time to go over every name. But look, my 40s senior women's, 50s majors, 40s AAA, and 40s major. Guys, look, thank you for going. Yeah, you guys did
definitely
the fundraising and everything. Thank you for going. You didn't have to go.
Proud. We're so proud of them.
So, look,
we're so proud of them. They put dubs down. I'm not going to lie. Had they come back like 0-3, I'm talking shit. Oh, we having it. We having it out here on the globe.
Oh, almost
we're
forgot.
Roping. You know what I'm saying?
This is why Jason Stoner's my guy.
Yes, sir.
Without asking, without prompting, without saying a word to him, he saw the Wawa. And he's bringing back K-Cups for me of Wawa coffee. Take note, people.
That's some East Coast shit, bro.
You want to hear your name on this show? That's the easiest way to do it. So
let's
moving on.
Let's here, bro.
Let's get Ernie in here. I got to apologize. It's taking forever.
He's probably like, won't these guys shut the fuck up?
Yeah, this is the guy. Listen, Blue Pill Mafia, you know the name. And this is the guy. From the palatial Calais Estate IC, joining us on the program, Ernie. Blue Pill Mafia is a franchise, all right? It's synonymous with success in senior softball. You're the architect, along with other people I know, but we're not talking about them tonight. This one's about you, pal.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll start it off with the comedy bit. Certain unnamed players on your team say Big Worm has said a lot in the dugout. I just want to confirm that is a name that you answer to.
It's one of a lot of names I answer to in the dugout, but yeah, that's the one I walk up to the plate with you for sure.
There it is.
All right. So, I mean, like I said, you guys have done pretty much everything there is to do in senior softball. I definitely want to touch on the unnamed. Well, no, I can't say that because I don't think it's the other one. All right. The sanction you only play once a year to go to a vacation locale. I definitely want to get into real quick the bump, the unnecessary bump that Blue Pill Mafia received a Major Plus when you didn't even play a single game in that sanction. I'd really like to hear your perspective of what happened when you got this news, and then how did you guys kind of pivot and decide to actually play at Major Plus? I know at least one tournament. You know what I mean? I'm just curious. And F you, Randy. I did not say that. I know I didn't say
that. So when the bump came in, that was just the official part of it. They've actually been treating us like a Major Plus team for like 3 years. We've been spotting. We've even played a team that came off winning spring worlds, and the very next tournament spotted them 5 runs. Playing against 11 players, we kind of just got used to it. The bump, when it came down officially, I didn't have too big of a problem with it because we just lost in the championship game at Worlds. We knew it was going to happen, but just certain things that I don't want to name names and teams or anything like that. But certain things happen and other people get away with weird stuff and. It's just whatever. We took our lumps, our bumps and our bruises for that year, and I'm happy to announce that we're back down to majors as of 2 days ago. So we're ready to roll this year.
That felt like a court battle, like literally a class action lawsuit. That's what that felt like. And to get dropped on a ranking by that California city where the main headquarters is like suing someone on a class. So congratulations. I mean. you should probably write a book about that and you'd make some money. I know a couple of team coaches that really need to read it, but not mentioning names, as we said.
Sure.
So let's go back to, well, actually, no, you know what? Let's talk about your guys in Florida this weekend. Speaking of sanctions, maybe being a little shady with rosters. So I shoot myself in the head. I know Tommy was down there and he did some pitching. I want to know, is there a future for him pitching for the home club here? And is that a possibility? Because Tommy and I are death metal brothers, so I'm obviously looking out for him. Is there a possibility that he sees the rubber of the mound for BPM in the future?
Maybe in BP, but in the game, absolutely not.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he could probably play.
Uh-oh.
He's not going to pitch.
Wow. Okay.
Love you, Tommy, but
I would agree that there's no Tommy better break an ankle, and even then he's still not pitching because he doesn't come out of the outfield unless he is deathly ill, and even then we may try to put him in right or left. You know, we'll keep him out of center field, but you got one leg, you can still run right or left. Good job in Florida, Tommy. You know I'm breaking stones. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Okay, how did this team start?
So it actually existed maybe 2 years, 2 years before I even joined. And actually, Kevin, our third baseman, the wall, he actually had a tryout with a team called Regulators. I don't know if you guys know who Bling is. Bling was the coach there. I was invited out with him. Kevin and I have been playing softball for 17 years together.
I'm sorry.
I've gotten him on every single one of my teams. He's gotten me on every single one of his teams, and he just said, "Hey, this is my guy. He's going to come with me." And so I tried out as a pitcher, and we both made the team. We didn't hear anything for like 3 weeks. Wasn't sure what was going on. Texted Bling, and then we get a call from Mike Kalis saying that things had happened or whatever, and Bling was no longer going to be coaching the team. So Kalis took over and brought back Blue Pill Mafia name, which was created by Mike Darling, if you guys know who Mike Darling is. And we went from there. I was didn't know anybody on the team, right? I honestly was accepted on the team because of Kevin. Kevin was their recruit. I came on as one of the backup pitchers, and I came on my first tournament with Blue Pill Mafia. I hit 1,000. That was my average, and I thought senior softball was going to be pretty easy. Eric Newfang, who's the softball director over at Legacy. Yeah, he was on there. I was batting behind him. He kind of took me under his wing for a couple of months before he left and pretty much told me to listen, young man, you better get your shit together because it's not what you think. Just slowly but surely, just started to make have suggestions with Mike and became good buddies with him, talking softball, and he had been asking me to come on and help coach for a few months. So I finally decided. Nobody enjoys this job. You know what I mean? It's difficult. You just want to show up and just hit, but
yes.
It's I wanted to be a part of this team, and that was going to be my role, so I accepted it, and here we are.
No, that's phenomenal. Now, I know some of the newer seniors don't they don't know this. They came in when you guys were kind of at one of your peaks and that you were just destroying teams, so they automatically assume that's how it always was. I wanted to get you on the show partly so those guys who think that it's just been this, juggernaut the whole time don't understand that there was some losing there. There was some pain of growth and figuring out the right combination. These guys actually did lose some tournaments back in the day when they were first putting this together, and I wanted to get you on the show to give the opportunity that, hey, it wasn't always roses and sunshine here. Like we had some rough times that I kind of wanted you to elaborate on that.
So, when I first came on, it took us 10 months to win our first tournament. It was an overnighter that we won over at Victory Lane. Even after that, it was still, at that time, AG Painting was the team. They were the ones. To this day, they're still the most decorated team in Arizona. They won their world championships, and but yeah, there was a lot of bumps and bruises. And I mean, honestly, I could probably say there's probably about maybe 10 to 12 youth or AAA teams right now that are better now than we were then. I think there's a lot of sandbagging going on right now, but yeah.
I mean, Aaron, I don't know if you realize this. I've been doing this since, I don't know, November. They're not going to stay there long. Listen, we have a little bit of a difference from here and, NCIS here. I got a little bit of pull now. So this sandbagging thing is not going to last long. Trust me. I got you. All you major guys are chomping at the bit for new fresh meat. It's coming. Right. It's coming.
No, I'll tell you what, if I could say something, and I'm not, trust me, I don't ever pretend to act like I know everything, but honestly, I don't even like talking about myself, you know what I mean? I'm just coming on the show because we have a lot of great guys in this team, and I think they deserve the notoriety.
Absolutely.
But if I can tell those guys anything, man, it's if you're trying to build a team to succeed, you're going to get a whole lot better losing in majors than you are winning in AAA. You can win all you want in AAA, but when you make that jump and start to face those major teams, it's a rude awakening. And when you get to Major Plus, you better already know there's no more learning there. You know, so
that's 5 or you lose. That literally every Major Plus game I've seen is literally just get to the open inning, and teams that are good and compete and understand it are dropping 5 right up until the open every game, and it's just a matter of who gets tired first in their half of the open inning. It's insane.
And in Major Plus it's actually 7, so in 2 innings you could be down 14-0.
Well, then it's even worse.
That's a tough hole to climb out of.
Yeah, and then I'm not even talking about the fielders, which is at another level. Like if you don't find a hole, you're not getting a hit. There's no freebie. So, but again, that's the progression, right? In AAA, you see guys drop fly balls. They're not as consistent at the plate. When you get to major level, it's almost you expect those plays to be made. You don't see as many mental errors. Guys are hitting 3 for 4, 4 for 5 instead of 2 for 4, 2 for 5. That's the big difference I see between AAA and major. AAA, the guys who are good are just dropping bombs. Like, okay, and they go up to majors, and what happens? Oh, they're not so special anymore.
Right.
So I think, and it's sad, but there's a big contingent of the AAA guys are literally afraid to go major because they're a big fish in a small pond now, and they're not ready to be the small fish in the big pond again. But hey, I have a way of working that out, so no worries there.
You sound like you making threats here, bro.
No, I don't make. Hey,
buddy, making threats,
I don't make threats.
Threats. You know
I make promises.
Oh shit! See, it just went.
Pop a few questions. I got to get you involved here.
No. I'm just watching and observing. I get to learn because I'm still relatively young, and I've only been really on one team, and it was your team for that matter. So a lot of what Ernie's saying in and of itself is informative for me. It's one of those things also that it brings back the idea that, a lot of these dudes are afraid to move up. I mean, that's the same in men's. I spent most of my time playing in men's, obviously. And you have these teams who are just absolutely dog walking everybody left and right. And some of those players are, a leap above, who they're playing against. And they refuse, or they do their best to avoid having to go up and play against that different competition. I think, me just as an observer, that's one of the things I've really always, respected about BPM in general was it's a bunch of dudes that play really, really well, and they play really, really well by themselves too. So it's not just a matter of the team is just incredible, blah, blah, blah. You've got a lot of dudes, just like Ernie said. I mean, you've got a lot of dudes on there who are incredible ball players. And that deserve the type of attention that they ultimately are kind of getting because, all I know is whenever I see BPM, I see dudes cowering from them, not wanting to play and, and finding ways to complain about it. So that's why I'm just kind of observing. This is a one time where I'm just shutting the fuck up and listening because it's informative it's informative, but but again, I do want to stress the fact that he has said a couple of times over the conversation in different ways, the importance of being patient as a team and as a player. I know in previous episodes, we've talked about that very point, that you're not going to just all of a sudden snap your fingers, come together as a team and just start blowing people out left and right. It doesn't happen. You're going to have to take the time. You're going to have to work on yourself individually as a player. But at the same time, the team continues to develop and grow. And obviously, I know as a coach, coaches are making, you have to make certain decisions that are tough in some cases to cut people or move different, make different moves, to make the team sufficient. But at the end of the day, it really does still come down to the dedication and effort that the team's players individually and as a collective are going to do. So That's why I'm just chilling right now.
Yeah,
man.
but you
it's great.
you did a great job because you led me into a question I've been wanting to ask Ernie on a show since before I got to the big Blue Guy show.
Pop it.
So obviously Marlos mentioned it. We both played on the same team. We played Blue Pill a couple times in tournaments where it was mixed. And I've pitched against them a couple times.
Mhm.
I always looked at it as a challenge. You know, you can pay respect to someone who's better than you, but you don't need to cower to them.
Absolutely.
And I always
Absolutely.
tried, whenever I played against them, I knew what I was going against. You know, it was David Goliath, no doubt about it. But as a pitcher, as a competitor, I'm like, all right, let me throw. I know these guys can hit. Let me throw my stuff, and I'll know exactly where I stand after this game.
Absolutely.
Every time I played them, I learned something. Like crap I got away with certain AAA guys, I did not get away with throwing to Blue Pill. You know, I know Heath hasn't played in a while, but Heath was the only guy that I was like, I'm going to take an extra couple steps back when I throw him a ball. Heath, because Heath was so big that I really, and I still do it to this day, so he can kick my ass, but I still question his back control. Anybody else on Blue Pill Mafia, if they said they weren't going to hit at me, I was confident that they knew how not to hit at me. Heath was one I just wasn't 100% sure. So that's my, you know, but every time I played them, you know, and we beat them once in pool, and I think you guys were missing, you know, 14 guys.
Half the team.
So,
yeah, I was gonna say, it was like, yeah. It was a lot. It was like we were playing against like.
But the funny part was, and this goes to that question is, those guys just rolled with it, and that same tournament, they went in a bracket, maybe the last seed, and ended up winning. Or next to last seed. Didn't phase them one bit. Whereas that was our World Series. We didn't care what happened in bracket. Hey man, we don't even need to play bracket. We're good. But I mean, the point is that I agree with, and I think the kids need to hear is that nobody's doing it the way we learn. And I'm sorry if I come off old guy, get off my lawn, but listen, this is how we all learn in different states and different places, and that you take your lumps as a team, and 90% of the time it benefits you in the long run. And this is the number one example that I could find of that with Ernie and everybody at Blue Pill. Yes. You know, I've had many conversations with you, Ernie, and Mike, and you know, that this is the way I think works, and no one is trying it. I'm trying to get it into the kids' head that if you guys start now, in a year or two, you're going to go D and C and B and A. You could do it as kids. You don't have to wait till you get to be seniors. This works for everyone, but man, a little bit of money, a little bit of greener pasture, a little bit of a snake tongue, and all of a sudden guys are jumping to greener, and it's not greener, is it?
It's usually just theory. It's usually just theory, though.
And you know what? I mean, I could sit here and talk for a whole hour, and coaches like Curtis Schuster, Dave Calvert, they can disagree with me on a lot of stuff. You know, I can sit here and tell you how, you know, I can't tell you how to build a softball team, you know, just how we built our softball team, how we go about things. And I had a lot of help from those guys, man. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I think everybody needs to realize is when you get into majors and you start competing with the upper echelon major teams, is when you start stepping on the field with those upper major teams, there's nothing but information all around you. Absolutely. And if you just stay a student of the game and just listen and just watch, that to me, that was the best way to build our team.
Well, I appreciate that. The question, my long-winded around the bend twice before we found the restaurant answer. Were you guys aware, or are you aware, I should say, because it still exists, are you aware of the intimidation factor that your logo and your team creates when you play other teams? Like, is that something you guys are conscious of going into a game? And I don't know if you can tell me if you use it or not, but I mean, is it just something that you guys are conscious of going into games?
Yes, but I can tell you that it's starting to fizzle out, right? Because the more, and this is what I've learned in 2021 is that the more that senior softball grows, right, the younger teams get, and half of those guys don't even know who the fuck Blue Pill Mafia is. You know what I mean? And you know, and some of them are going to find out. But you know, you know, I guess how can I put it was, no, we never did use it. If I could be totally honest, we don't show up to tournaments and put a lot of emphasis in winning that tournament. Okay, we have a bigger goal. Winning next week's tournament, that's not our goal. What we put emphasis on is executing, and if we execute, that translates into wins. But you know, when we do lose, and we lose a lot, you we just we take the negatives and we fix those, and we take the positives and we build on that. But yes, we notice the intimidation factor, but no, we don't use it.
Understood. I just, and I guess it's not as much as when I first got here, I guess, and started getting involved in playing seniors in where was I? CPS, NCI, where was I? CBS? I forget. Yeah. So when I first got involved, you guys were on a really good roll, and I've got to see the last couple of years kind of the up and down and how you guys are retooling, because it's very hard to keep one team together, whether a guy leaves for another team or moves up to 50s or whatever the reason, has to leave, whatever it is. It's tough to do. So to watch you guys just basically every single time retool, and again, you get that right one or two guys every time. And that's the process I want to know about. How do you guys, first of all, not locate because then you're giving away your secrets, but how do you target talent? And then how do you guys pick right? I can't think of a better way to kind of, because I haven't seen you pick a wrong one yet.
Well, I don't know. I guess the number one thing that we look for in a guy is character, and family values. What Kalis has done with this team, and from the very beginning, was make the family atmosphere our number one priority. And then obviously talent, and guys who know the game and who are coachable. And just not jump on the first guy that's available. And then when you finally pick a guy, you give him two tryouts, and you see what's realistic and what's not. And just look for the small things. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but
no, obviously,
No,
I'll take what I can get.
that.
But
Yeah.
it leads me to my next question. Based on your criteria, where the hell's my tryout, Ernie? I've been trying this for
shit.
3 years. What?
Well, no.
I check all those boxes that you said.
you don't.
You said them.
What you don't know is that one time over in Maricopa, Pecana Park, you were asking Mike Kalis for a tryout.
I
He said,
was,
"Mike,
absolutely.
give me a tryout, even if I don't make it, I just want to sit on your bench. Just let me coach." You didn't realize that the coach was actually standing behind you when you said that you were asking for my job with me standing right behind you.
All right, hold on.
All that shit.
Hold on here. Wait,
Get him,
hold on
Ernie.
a minute.
Get him, Ernie. Get him
There was
right,
never.
Ernie.
Now
Get
hold
him
on.
right.
There was never any. And I like how Mike has omitted certain words. A coach, not the coach. There's a big damn difference. All right. And if you recall, my actual wording was, "I'll just sit the bench. I just want the jersey." That was my exact quote to Kalis, so I could go out and go, "Hey, look," and wear it 6 days a week. And, like, I got one. How did I get this if I'm not on the team? That was, yeah. And don't forget, I wasn't really in my right mind back then. I was kind of dealing with some issues, so let's give me a little space on that one. But yes, I've been bugging Kalis. Geez, we're going on years now. It was a running joke, and then I was like, well, I'm going to keep it going now. He's never going to give it to me, so now at least I can always use it, and it'll always be there.
Yeah.
You guys have picked right so much, man, and you take the time to get to know guys, and I've seen that family atmosphere, absolutely.
And we're retooling now, right? We're in the middle of it all. We just had to wait for this damn Challenge Cup thing to finish, because people had prior
Commitments. Just leave it at commitments.
Circumstances.
But yeah, this year I'm not gonna name any names. They don't want me to, because they have their respective coaches still, or whatever they gotta do. But we're gonna get younger. We're gonna get faster. That's the plan, anyways. And we're just try to be better than 2021. We won 5 tournaments in 2021. Man, that's a little bit of a step back than we're used to, and we're gonna try to prevent that from happening again.
Well, the other teams in your division currently have definitely stepped up. I think SBOB has found a renewed sense of purpose with their younger add-ons this year. I know they got a couple younger guys. A couple guys came back that used to be there, so they've won a couple tournaments. They hit the ground running.
You talk about a family atmosphere. They probably have one of the best ones out there. Those guys have been. The core of that team's been together for forever. And if you let Vinny talk, he's gonna ear fuck you. But he makes a lot of sense, and he knows the game very well. I know he's watching. Vinny, love you, but
He is. He hasn't left yet.
always been
So
there. They've always been a threat to us.
yeah, the ambassador in Indonesia got his travel visa denied, so he's still hanging out in Tucson trying to figure out how to get out of the country. So yeah, I mean, I was going to kind of go down the list. I know SBob kind of retooled with the outer edges, and their new guys are just they've been phenomenal. They've been really good. Blue Point's been on a great run. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And then the Bandits just. You can't ever write them off. You can't ever write them off.
18 months ago, Dave warned me about this role too. So trust me, he was very confident from when he first took over that team.
Well, I think they made a couple changes there. They made some moves they felt they needed to make. We have breaking news. Breaking news from Randy Blunt. Breaking: Andrew Areola is a Bandit now. Sorry, Dave. Hashtag sorry, Dave. Now we're going family on family crime and 40s major. But, I mean, everybody there is a threat on any given weekend. And we've seen that, and now Icon's up with you guys. Obviously, good part of that team has majors experience. Hesh, again, also retool, getting the guys that he needed. And they voluntarily go up to major, although, one tournament I probably would have said, come on. But anyway, retooled with some really good names. So, again, also a threat. Experience there. These 40 majors are no pushovers. Everybody's trying to make moves to stay relevant. And like I said, you guys have kind of been at the front of that line for a couple years since I've been here. So I'm very excited to see how this stuff plays out over the course of the year. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about was, how are you guys feeling with the DHH rule over here on this side of town?
On my team, it doesn't matter who I appoint in DHH. Nobody gives a shit. They're all going to swing for the fences anyways. Dumb bastards. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, it definitely helps, especially with a team with a lot of power. You know what I mean? We like it.
I mean, I'm trying to kind of, when I get guys on, just get some opinions, because obviously I'm willing to make adjustments on the fly if needed, and if we get a majority on something.
But
I'm trying to feel it out.
I think they did. So a lot of these guys, and most of these guys, come from playing U-Trip, right? And so they're used to the rules. The only thing they have to adapt to is just the pitching itself. I think the DHH is one of those. Is one of the rules that is part of the tradition of USSSA. I think it's fine. I don't think you need to miss anything there.
I mean, I think it's kind of six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You lose typically roughly 2 home runs off of what you're used to in other places, but then the DHH doesn't count against your home run total. So I don't think it's that big. But again, I'm trying to get the feedback, the guys who play, and because obviously I'm sitting at a table, I'm watching the games, I'm not playing. So it's a perspective that I need to get from the coaches. Something I wanted to kind of talk to you about, and something I'm pretty proud of, as far as whether it be here or other places I've worked. I think it's getting the credit.
If you talk to any of the major coaches, I don't think anybody's going to complain about free home runs.
Not at all. Not at all.
I hope not. I hope not, because I think that's a ludicrous argument.
It never makes sense to me. It never made sense to me, even a couple times where I played GSL, right? It never made sense to me when people would say, well, I don't like this DHH thing. Why? Like, you just don't like it because it's unusual to you. It's not what you expected, or it's not what you would associate with senior. I never understood that. How would you be mad that one dude could hit home runs the entire game with no penalty?
I never understood that. DHH? Did the actual DHH say that to you?
No, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's always some random ass dude who can barely hit the ball at the infield and goes, yeah, this is bullshit. I don't know why we have a DHH. It's like, dude, how are you mad? Like, what are you mad about? Like, come on.
What? I don't like the DHH when I give up a bomb to him. That's when I absolutely despise the DHH. Because it doesn't even help me. It doesn't even go to the total.
Randy just asked a question that you know is near and dear to my heart. Right?
I know. Go ahead. Ask
I am most definitely in the camp of F that Matt, right? So
go ahead, ask
Randy Blunt asked, pitching Matt or no? That's the question.
Um,
We sat
you know,
back for this one.
Right?
I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that one, but I think that if you eliminate the mat, you're probably gonna get a whole lot more arguments. Um, I guess just depending on what you guys are willing to put up with, man. That's the mat kind of eliminates the whole thing. You know what I mean? I know there's arguments with the pitching height and barely missing the corner or whatever, but if you take that mat away, I think you're gonna open up to a whole lot more arguments and maybe tosses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have Ricky Blue train like an entire ninja clan of umpires to act exactly like he does when people try. I don't know if we have the budget for that. So
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I still say, my opinion, Mark.
I know you don't like it, but then you've been a U-Trip guy, though.
I'm also not not a pitcher either, so I get to do that thing.
Let me ask you a question. So it's so U-Trip normally doesn't put the mat out there. What's the reason you guys put it in for seniors?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure what the reason was. I mean,
Tradition?
I think it's just easier. I mean, you kind of hit one of the many reasons, like it hits the mat. That's it. And when you add the arc in, because the older guys are used to the, I'd say it's because we all played ASA when it was actually popular when we were younger. And that's why, but somebody thought the arc would help, but nobody counted on the bats becoming what they became.
Yeah, I was going to say that, at least for U-Trip Senior, it always felt like they just did that because it's a tradition of the senior programs that were, the senior programs that people were playing, used a mat. And then in order to not necessarily disrupt that tradition or disrupt what the players are used to, they said, okay, let's do that. But I guess that's, one of the reasons why I argue against it all the time. Forget the safety part, because I don't want to hear that at all, right? Like you just said, the bats that we swing in seniors are nuts. I don't want to hear anything about safety. Stop it. Okay. But that's said,
why I retired.
That's why I don't pitch. That said,
what was I thinking?
It seems
I'm
like
sorry.
It seems like
I have no agility, no speed. No, what do I got to pitch.
Right.
Sorry, Marlos.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm not. Look, man. I'm not hating on anybody. You're a crazier motherfucker than me. But what I am saying is, what I am saying though is the mat. That mat being there seems like a piece of tradition. It seems like it was a way to draw some, players that were used to what had been for so long. But I guess my retort has always been, a good portion of these folks who are moving up into seniors have spent the last 10, 15 years or whatever playing U-Trip. There's no mat in U-Trip. There has never been a mat in U-Trip, at least since I've played. So I always end up going, so you want the tradition of senior, but you're basically casting off the tradition of, standard U-Trip. That's my pitch against it. I know there are other people who believe it different, and that's fine. And I no matter what, no one's going to convince me otherwise. It is the one thing that I'm completely not objective whatsoever about, is that mat. I still can't find a reason. And more times than not, when we ask somebody about the mat, their answer is much like Ernie's, much like mine, much like yours, Mark, where it's like, I don't really know why it's there. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know the actual history of somebody.
Right.
I'm sure it's something really stupid where somebody cut a floor mat or something, and because an ump sucked, that they went, what, I'm tired of you. If it hits the mat, that's a strike. I guarantee.
I can see that. And I do agree. I can see the fact that it's pretty cut and dry. If it's the mat's a wrap, like it's a strike. That's what it is.
And listen, I appreciate what the younger 40s are saying, and they're used to that zone, and obviously they want to play in that zone with the senior bat. I get it, but I'm telling you guys, you just got to adjust. It's another adjustment, just like going up in a rank.
Yeah,
I'm bitching
the same
the kind of thing coming from.
I'm bitching the bitch because at the end of the day, the job is see the ball, hit the ball. If you're waiting for it to cross the plate, hit the mat, etc., you've already lost. That's the job is to hit the ball. The job is to see the ball, hit the ball. You see the ball, a good ball, you hit the ball. But that's really it. A strike ball or otherwise, it comes down to what you do with your bat. But
I think as the younger guys get older, okay, you may see a move, right, where it goes to that because the majority of the guys are just coming out of a U-Trip, or maybe I get lucky and the 35-plus program takes off. You know what I mean? But I think the more the kids that move up and get to be in that age where they can do that, you may see a change at some point. Right now, I've got too many guys who currently play who have played with the mat, like the mat. That's the format. Let's go. Either hit it or don't, whatever, and I'm right now, that's where it's at.
Hey man, that ain't gonna stop me from complaining at you every chance I get about the mat.
One thing that Mike whispered in my ear earlier was that I think that, and not to talk bad about the umpires right now, but if you ever took the mat away, you've got to be all the umpires there that are going to be
right. So that's
a great point.
You're right. That's a phenomenal point
right.
by the Ernie Callis combo over there, because
you're right.
Look at the complaints you guys had for Winter Nationals. Okay,
right.
So now you've got to take all of those and let's add to that pile with the actual strike zone. I'm much more comfortable arguing over what's 10 feet, what's 6 feet. I'm okay. Now we're going to argue zone, and you're going to tell me about your front shoulder.
Man, everybody's an engineer when it comes to hitting, bro.
And that right there is probably my strongest argument for why that mat is not going anywhere right now.
I heard that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen?
Going anywhere.
First time you do it, I'm going to try to persuade, for the first 2 innings, I'm going to try to persuade the umpire to lean towards me. Rick Dush is going to try to persuade the umpire to try to lean towards him. And as soon as the umpire leans somewhere, we're gonna roll.
Complain. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because the old guys are a little more cerebral in how they attack calls, umpires, the other team, the opposing pitcher. It's a whole nother level of cerebral, because we don't have the agility to run out and fight each other. So we got to be much smarter with our insults and much more calculated. We got to go to work on Monday. You young bucks, by all means. We can't afford to do that anymore.
Man.
I learned my lesson. And yes, I'm nuts. I go out there with a helmet on. Like I'm okay. Like the rest of my body, who cares about my arms or, my stomach, my chest, my legs? The shin guards only do so much. Everybody's got their way of doing it. But Ernie, look, I appreciate you coming on the program, sir. You guys just, you set a standard that everybody should at the very least, look into. Whether you appreciate it or you're jealous of it, the lesson should be the same. You should find out how it happened and why it worked. You're destined to repeat failure if you keep repeating the same moves. I mean, why not learn? So I appreciate coming on and revealing what you could.
The thing is that Mike tells me that once a month. Since I've known him, that he's told me that once a month about failure. Yeah, man. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the kind words. Sorry about last week. Marlos, I know you and I have never officially met. Man. I know you and I have never officially met, but
yes, sir. It's been fun. It's been fun.
He's seen you on the field. Trust me. He's heard me. He's heard me losing it in the dugout a couple times. That's why. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's the reason I don't play anymore as people. It has nothing to do with the game. The game's still great. And I can still do it. I found out last night. Talk to your boy Diaz. He came in when I did pull myself, he came in to help me out. So I still appreciate that from Mikey. But the 4 for 5 is legit. He can back that up. So if we ever get around to this tryout thing and work out the contract details, we'll figure it out. At least I have he's solid. So we don't need film.
When they get up here, I'll give Diaz a call and we'll go from there.
There it is.
Yeah, you confirm the information.
There it is.
See, I used to just yell at Callis like I deserve a tryout. No. I'm talking to the coach now. Now you get the stats. Now you get the hard data. It ain't going to happen, but I'm going to keep acting like it might.
Hey, all right, you never know.
Ernie, again, thank you so much. I would only come out of retirement to sit the bench with you guys. And that's the only thing I would do to come out of retirement. And I got to clear it by Ronnie, too, because I kind of got to run the whole.
That's a lot of movement. That's a lot of movement. That's a lot of things.
That's not fair. That's not fair to Ronnie. Yeah, you sit at the table. I'm going to go sit on a bench and make a lot of noise and be a rah-rah. But, yes, thank you for joining us. I'm sure we will have you on again as we get into more tournaments this year.
Absolutely.
And you guys do travel a couple times, so I'm curious to get you on when you go to a travel tournament and get your feedback on different states and tournaments so we can spread the word and try to get some other teams to get to traveling. That's the best way to get our name out there and really improve your team.
Absolutely.
But Ernie, again,
thanks to you. I'll make sure that Kalis is sitting right next to me, and you can ask him a couple of questions too.
There we go.
He don't listen. For what I know of my boy Mike don't need to be on camera. That's not where he does his best work. He and I both know that, and that is actually a compliment. and he knows what I'm talking about. That man is a sponge for knowledge. He's always trying to see every angle before he makes a decision. And little does he know, out of everyone, and I'm not saying that other people didn't influence me, but Mike probably had the most influence on me learning about seniors here and trying to run a team. So, I'll give him his props for that. And Ernie, I've always kind of picked your brain when we've had an extra minute, when something crazy wasn't going on or in a game, to where, and you were always very honest with me and gave me the best answers you could. And, now that we're on a forum here, I can properly thank you for that. Sure, it just didn't work out as a coach. So I said, what's the next best move? Oh, yeah, I can run a sanction. So here we are. But again, thank you for all your words and knowledge over the years that I was playing. It still means a lot to me to this day.
Hey, no problem, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Indeed.
Well, I guess we got to wrap this bad boy up. We have been on for a little while. I love the fact that we look up and it's an hour later and the conversation, I felt like, kept moving. I'm sure I'll get some messages to the contrary. But then again, NFG, softball sanction, goes for what I think of those messages I'm going to get.
DOTY.
Thank you again.
DOTY, bro.
Now, next week, I think we're on Tuesday, we have our bracket reveal.
Yes.
Next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Ernie, you're going to want to pay attention to that one since we're doing a different format. And I posted on it. That's why I didn't get into it in the show. 3-game guarantee. We're going into a straight bracket due to limitations on the times and the fields that I had to use. That's why there were caps on the teams this time, guys. So a lot of guys were asking for this, and here you go. It's the 3-game guarantee you've been asking for. Look, I just said so many nice words to him. I can't ask him that, Randy. He's trying to. I can't ask him if I can have a jersey. Like, did I not? I dropped the mic already. Like, I can't. Anyway, Southwest Invite bracket reveal. Yes, I said reveal, and that's all I'm going to say till next week. Surprise for you guys. A lot more visual, a lot more Marlos involved.
Whoa.
No more poker chips.
Yeah.
So join us next week for the bracket reveal for Southwest Invite. AAA. Still 4 spots open. So if you're thinking about it, get in there quick. We're shutting it down on Tuesday.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
else, get your damn deposits in if you haven't already, and we'll figure it out. So next week, bracket reveal. Ernie, thank you again. Mike, I know you're back there somewhere. Thank you again for technical support tonight and adding in the details of my begging for a spot on the bench. All right. So until next week, we'll see you. Enjoy some more BP Mercenaries as we get the heck on out of here.
Yes, sir.
Are we definitely off so I don't say anything stupid?
All right. I think we're good. Yeah, we're clear.